Hey folks, Dads After Dark is part of the Nintendo Dads After Dark line of podcasts, which means the content, it's not necessarily PG, it's not necessarily kid-friendly. So, yeah, you've been warned. Enjoy!
Shut up and sit down.
What is going on, dads, and welcome to episode 2 of the Dads After Dark show, recorded on January 19th, 2020. We are your hosts, Drew and John, and thank you for joining us tonight for some Nintendo and eggplants. Now, we are excited to be here again. We had some great reception from last week. Thank you for all of you guys who reached out to us. We're happy. This is fun. We're doing this because we enjoy it. It's after dark. It's a little edgy. And tonight, we step up that edge game, right, John? But what's going on? How are we doing today? What have you been up to the last couple of weeks?
Drew, can you lower your voice? I had 5 9-year-old girls sleeping over at my house.
God bless you.
And no, it's not a Jeffrey Epstein thing. My daughter is 9, and she had a birthday sleepover, and kids came over at 3 p.m., Drew, and played Just Dance and video games, and then we made them dinner, and it was like feeding a horde of angry antelope.
I guarantee you were in the middle of that dancing.
I'm not going to incriminate myself. And then put them to bed after dinner and a movie. They watched Paddington 2. And they were so loud, and they're in the room next to us, and they can hear right through the walls. And my wife had to go in and say, "Get to bed." And yeah.
So there was no dads that scored last night, John.
There was no dads. Not a single dad scored in my household. And then the next morning, feed them breakfast, and then finally get them out of the house about 10 o'clock. So I'm still a little tired about it. How are you doing, Drew?
I don't know. I'm getting old, right? I started training for a half marathon last week. The very first week, I got hurt. I don't know what I did. I ran 3 miles. I felt great. The next morning, I woke up. I couldn't walk. I rolled an ankle. It felt like my foot limping around work. It's getting better. I'm recovering. This weekend, I go over. I don't know if I bend over to tie my shoe, something. Throw my back out, John. I literally am walking around like an old man. I was at the grocery store this morning. I think I had to ask like an 80-year-old woman to reach something for me because I couldn't move my back. My wife had to snow blow my driveway today. I'm a mess, John. I'm getting old. I can't handle it. All right.
Wait. I have so many questions right now, but my first question is, why are you training for a marathon?
There's no reason, actually. I think it's one of those yeah, I could do that. And it's funny because I said, I'm going to do this. My wife's like, okay, Andy, sure you are. Yep, you're going to do it. I was like, no, I'm going to train it. I'm getting an 8-week program. I printed out this nice little chart, 8 weeks. Each day of the week, you have different things you got to do. I'm doing it. First day, 3 miles, killed it. She's like, wow, okay. Next morning, Amy, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. I'm out. So I haven't ran since. Hopefully next week I can't let her win, John. She's winning right now.
So you just woke up one morning and said, I'm going to run a damn marathon. Is that really what happened? Like, this isn't like, every year, every 2 years I run a marathon. It's just, I'm going to run a marathon.
For those that don't know, I'm a big Disney guy. I do my own Disney podcast called The Disney Guys Uncensored. Check it out. But Disney does this thing called virtual run series, where it's a virtual, you sign up, you do like a virtual half marathon. They do 5Ks, 10Ks. And it's kind of like you're really doing it for yourself, right? So it's like a self-motivating thing. So I signed up for a half marathon. I have between January 1st and March 31st to complete it. So that's kind of why I paid the money for it. I got to do it.
You paid them money to run a marathon?
You pretty much pay them money for a medal. That's the way I look at it. But it makes me feel good about myself. They give me a medal.
Oh, you're going to get one of those medals, like participation medal?
It's not participation, John. It's a completion medal.
Well, you're not going to participate, it sounds like. So.
Oh, I will. This is happening. But that's me. I'm getting old. I feel old. I got to fight through it though.
Oh, okay.
What about you? Anything else? Or what have you been playing video game wise?
The last episode I said that I was playing Ukulele and the Impossible Lair. I wanted to give an update on that. I beat the Impossible Lair. I did so. Yeah.
Because John, why did you beat it? We are the dads at what?
We're the dads at score. I'm misleading. I beat the Impossible Lair on New Year's Eve. In fact, I wanted to finish it before the end of the year, and I did. But I recently came back to it. Remember the last episode I mentioned that I was playing Thumper as well. Yes, Thumper broke me.
That game.
I got up to the boss of level 6, and I could not beat the boss level 6. The entire time I was playing Thumper, I kept thinking that every stage was the last I was going to do. There's no way I can beat this. There's no way I can beat this, and I get through it. And I was really impressed with myself. But I think it was like level 619 or whatever it is. The boss was just too hard. My fingers don't work fast enough. I was playing on my Switch Lite. In a move of desperation, I switched over to my OG Switch because I was thinking if I had a bigger screen, maybe I could see more. Maybe this game isn't designed for a small screen. And that still didn't work. So then I grabbed my Pro Controller and I played on my big screen. And I hardly ever play games docked. And I tried that one for like 15 minutes. Still couldn't beat it. So I just said, okay, we're done. I don't like quitting on games, but I did. I physically can't do it. I'm a 43-year-old man, Drew. I physically, my skills are diminishing. I am leaving the prime of my life. I physically couldn't do it.
It's just not what you used to be. You're losing the touch. I'm pulling my back out, and you're not finishing video games. I mean,
exactly. And it takes.
Why are we here? Why are we even doing a podcast?
I don't even know.
I don't know.
But the point of that story is that I picked up Impossible Lair because I was sitting around waiting for Tokyo Mirage Sessions. It finally launched on Friday. I've been playing that since. But I picked up Impossible Lair, and I wanted to do all the completion stuff. And so if you've played this game, every level has 5, they call them twit coins. And it's an acronym. Oh, sure. I forget what they stand for, but they call them twit coins. And they're very purposefully like joking. But there's 5 in each level. So it's a lot like the Mario games, right? The Donkey Kong, you got to find all these coins. And I had a tremendous amount of fun. There are 40 levels in the game, and I found every single twit coin for those levels. And then I found the 8 bonus. There's 8 bonus. How do you describe it? Bees, which represent hit
like
points.
Bumblebees?
Yeah, no, like bees. So when you start
the
game,
bee?
No, bees like bumblebees,
bumblebees.
Well, okay, yeah, but they're not bumblebees. They're bees.
What the hell's the difference, John?
There's
it's a yellow little piece of shit that stings you. It's a bee. It's a bumblebee. What do you mean? They're all the same.
Bumblebees are like 4 times the size of a bee.
Well, I mean, sure. Hornet bee, bumblebee, honey bee.
Bees, Drew.
It's all the same, John. It's a yellow and black little insect that flies around and annoys you.
You rescue the damn bee and you get a hit point that you can use in the Impossible Lair.
That makes zero sense. Why would a bee give you a hit point?
Do you want me to explain it to you?
Not really. I could care less.
The bees fly around ukulele, and every time you take a hit, one of the bees just like falls to the floor. Like, oh, the bee took a bullet for you.
Oh, okay. And that still makes sense.
So when you start the game, you have to do this level called the Impossible Lair. It takes like 15 to 20 minutes to get through, and you have 0 hit points. Okay, and
it should take us 15 to 20 minutes to get through this opening.
Well, yes, it is. This is so you have to go through the levels to get bees, so you can get more hit points, so that you can possibly get through the Impossible Lair. And the whole game is just you getting hit points so that you can get through the Impossible Lair.
John, it sounds like if you just sucked less, you wouldn't need more bees.
You know what? It really does. Like, the game makes you feel like you are just trying to get cheats to get through this really hard stage. And maybe that's why they decided to call it the Impossible Lair, so you wouldn't feel like such a loser. But I got all 48 bees. Now, I beat the Impossible Lair when I had 41 bees. Okay, Drew? So I had 41 bees. And I think I ended with like 2 hit points. So I needed 39 bees to protect me. And 39 bees laid their lives for me. Okay. So can we get a moment of silence for the 39 bees?
I don't get the bees. I don't get it. Are they flying around you, or are they just hiding in your pocket?
Let's move on from the bees, Drew. But what I want to say is that I got every twit coin. I got all the bees, and I went to do all the achievements because I had to find all the tonics, right? There's these like hidden tonic beaker things throughout the game. But there is one tonic, Drew, that I can't get. And do you want to know how you get this tonic, Drew?
I mean,
you get
point,
this tonic.
Sure.
Listen to this. You
probably need all the bees.
Yeah, no. That's a different tonic. You get this tonic, and if you're gonna play ukulele right now, or you're playing it,
I don't
do
need
not
to.
try to get all that.
I don't need to.
I'm not talking to you, Drew. I'm talking to.
I feel like you are.
So you have to get this tonic. I'm not joking here. You have to get through the impossible layer with no bees. Okay? This is a 15 to 20 minute level. There's 4 boss battles that occur during it, and the rest is hardcore platforming. You have to get through it with no bees.
Good. You don't
which is a joke, Drew. Drew, that's a joke. Let me point out, just to make it a little more annoying. Listen to this.
I'm listening, John.
You have to do it on your first try. Okay? Your first try. Now, of course, nobody's going to do it on their first try. You haven't seen it before. But you have to do it on your first try, which means if you fail, you have to start a new save file and play through the tutorial again just to try one time getting through the impossible layer. And if you fail, you have to do it again.
What does this tonic even give you? Just a little pat on the back?
I don't remember what the tonic was. But if you get the last tonic, then you get the achievement for getting all the tonics. And then if you get that achievement with the other achievements, you get an achievement for getting all the achievements. So I don't have the tonic, and I'm missing 2 achievements because I'm not going to freaking do this. This is stupid. So
stupid.
I had a really great time. I had a great time.
Sounds like you had a blast. It sounds like you had a blast annoying yourself.
I would literally have to play this game for like 3 months, playing the impossible layer over and over again to get good enough to get through it without taking a hit. Then I'd have to try to do new save files and go through tutorials over and over again until I did it. So that was my week.
Have you ever heard of the comedian named Dennis Leary?
Yes.
So for everyone out there that knows Dennis Leary, I'm just going to quote a skit from him that says, "Fuck bees." Because that's how I feel after just listening to that game.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. But
you know what? Anything I have to say now about video gaming is pretty much useless after that story.
Well, I will say that new Fire Emblem content, new 4th House, Cindered Shadows DLC totally made my week. And I'm done with ukulele. Fuck bees.
I could have cared less about that direct shadow, whatever and then the info about the Fire Emblem, blah, 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 sure, whatever. I'm still suckered into Witcher 3. The only positive note I can say about it is I came across a brothel, and of course, I went into the brothel, and they're like, "Oh, you don't talk to the chick in the corner that owns the place." Well, maybe, and to progress the storyline, and I was like, "Fuck that! I wanted to check out the broads." So you could go up to the different females located within the brothel. There was probably like 5 different ones, and you talk to them. They're like, "Oh, do you want to go into a private room for 20 gold?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah, I want to go into a private room." But what's going to happen? Yeah, absolutely. And they don't leave the imagination to the video gamer. They create the imagination for you. They lay it all out there. I did send you a photo of what happened while you were at work. Almost took you fired.
Yes, you did, Drew.
My apologies on that. But so after I did my first chick, I said, well, hell, I got to try the other 4, see if anything's different. And they are different. So one chick took my money and ran. She didn't even get naked. I was a little upset about that. The other 3 performed. They did a good job. I enjoyed it. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. Why not?
Was it?
And then,
Did you do this like one after another, or did you like go to go to the hotel and sleep and then like try again?
no, this was bat to bat to bat. I just
You really put your character to the test here.
luckily nobody was home. That would have been really awkward. I was playing on the TV, and
Your kids walk in, and you got to figure out how to turn off the TV.
yeah, it wouldn't have went well. But yeah, you know what? I don't need to get into more of The Witcher. I've been playing it. It's so long. I'll probably be playing the next 8 episodes that we have. But I've been playing a few other small things. We don't need to talk about it. I think we just need to get into our first topic. What do you think?
Let's do it, Drew.
Let's do it. So for this topic, John and I decided to get a little raunchy. Maybe it was the brothel talk, maybe it was the bee talk. I don't really know, but we decided to go out and rate the hottest characters on the Nintendo Switch. So there's very few rules. The only really one rule is they have to be on the Switch. In some sense, they could be a port. Yes. It could be an old character that reemerged on this. It doesn't matter as long as there's a game on the Switch where they can be found.
And specifically, no 3DS, no Wii U. They have to be on the Switch.
Correct. Now, we each picked 5, and we each ranked them, our top 5. So I think the best way to do this is kind of just let's go through our 5. So, John, why don't you lead us off and tell us your number 5 hottest character on the Nintendo Switch?
And I will say that this isn't like our favorite female characters, because Lucina would be like high up there, but really just sexiest. And this one for me was a late arriving. I literally just changed it today. But Maiko Shimazaki from Tokyo Mirage Sessions at number 5. So I was introduced to this lady on Friday, and she runs the main, like, I don't want to give any spoilers to this game. It's fairly new, but she runs the main studios in Tokyo Mirage Sessions, and she like handles the talent. She teaches them how to sing, that sort of thing. And like, of all the characters on the list, this is the milfiest of them.
So I'm going to say, as we go through these, I am going to be pulling these up because I'm going to be honest. I think 4 of you people, I don't even know who the hell they were. So I needed to. I'm going to be pulling them up, looking at them. She's got that little school teacher vibe. I'm kind of into it. That skirt, very short, John. I feel like her hoo-ha would be hanging out if that was a real skirt.
Yeah, she's got kind of an outfit that like the buttons are having a hard time holding on. And that's kind of a theme for Tokyo Mirage Sessions. The women are very busty.
She's got the glasses with kind of like the pointy sides. Yeah, I mean, I'm digging it.
And she does position herself as a little bit older. She's not like one of the young girls. She's a businesswoman. She's professional. She handles the business, and so she's a little milfy. She's really cute.
Like a nice mid-30s.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at, and she's also very flirtatious in the game. She'll like say things like, there's at one point she asks your character if he'd like a private lesson with her or whatever, and he's all like, yeah. And then the girl character, who's like one of the main characters, and like kind of like a love interest of the main character, and she's like looking at him like, I can't believe you're so gross, and men just want one thing and whatever. And the guy's like, your character is just like, what? Like, I think it would be good for my career. Like, he totally doesn't get it. And but then it turns out she was just joking with him. Like, she was really flirting with him. So she gets my number 5 spot, and that's a good way to start right here. Drew,
it's a good way. I will say you do need to be careful when you Google some of these characters, because you get a lot of cosplay, you get a lot of fan art, you get stuff that's kind of a little not what you were expecting. But anyways, my number 5, I went back and forth here. And I wanted to put somebody on the radar that everyone could kind of relate to. And I'm going to say everybody listening to this show knows this person. And this person is in a lot of different games. So then I had to go pinpoint my game. So I'm going with no other than from the Mario franchise, technically the Donkey Kong franchise as well, Paulina. And
Paulina, the mayor.
You know, at first I was going with Mario Odyssey. I was like with that hat and the little, you know, you had the singing going on over in New Dawn City. But then I remembered she made a late appearance in Mario Tennis with that little athletic skirt with the black leggings and the little visor and just
That did it for you? How many people have seen Paulina in Mario Tennis? Are people still playing that game?
I mean, I doubt it. I played it for about a week. I beat the game, and
do you think they put her in there to try to bring people back
because of her hotness, or just because of she's well, you know, when you put Mario characters like her or Peach or I don't know, Daisy doesn't do it for me, Rosalina in these athletic games, you know, for example, I almost went Rosalina in Mario Kart 8 when she has a bike. She wears like that tight spandex outfit, you know? So there's I don't know. You're not wrong. I mean, when they add these characters and they put them in these different games, they're like, oh, now we can explore different outfits and
yeah. Anyways, and really, Paulina deserves credit. She's come a long way from the old retro games. You know, Correct. She's really kind of come in and I agree. She's getting hotter with age.
She's maturing. She is maturing. You're right. I mean, if you had to go by age, she's probably up there, but she almost doesn't age. You know.
Yeah.
Video game characters don't have to. That's the beauty of it.
Right. Yeah. But, well, okay. So I'm intrigued now. You're going with Paulina number 5. Drew, who is your number 4?
So this one is unique. I kind of stretch here because I don't really play a lot of this game, but she jumps out at me because again, I don't know the history here. I think she's kind of got that little. This is my only one that's a little edgy where she's almost non-human. You know, change it up a little bit, throw some spice in there, and I'm going with the Widowmaker from Overwatch. And do yourself a favor, John. Give her a little Google image search for yourself.
All right.
Not only will you find some amazing cosplay outfits, but
okay, I see it.
So she has this purple skin. Of course, she has the very revealing, like almost think of like a zipper up front, but with the zipper all the way down to like the belly button.
Are these clothes? These remind me of those like it looks like body paint.
I mean,
which is great armor for a game like Overwatch.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Very curvy in the backside area, I may say, but yeah, she's kind of jumped out at me. I'm into it. You know, like I said,
do you use her as your character?
No, I don't really play the game. I played it a couple times, but no.
Oh, okay.
No,
it just seems like that would be a character to use, you know, while you're playing, something to look at.
Funny, you know, there was a long time ago when I used to play MMOs on the PC. You know, yeah, sure, you make some female characters. Like, why do you make a female character? Like, listen, if I'm gonna sink hundreds of hours into a game, I at least want to look at like a nice female.
Yes.
Than, like, burly man running around. Like
exactly.
What? There's no difference, male or female. I'm still doing the same damage. I'm still playing the game the same. I'm just trying to look at something a little bit more enjoyable.
Yeah.
You know? So I agree with that statement.
I mean, I'll tell you right now, I'm playing Tokyo Mirage Sessions, and you know, you're grinding, you're fighting battles over and over and over again. And you know, one of my 3 characters is a very busty young lady, and the camera kind of gets in on her, and I tweeted a picture of it earlier today. And honestly, it makes the grind a little more palatable. So it's for the same reason. It just gives you something to kind of look at.
Nothing wrong. Yeah, absolutely agree. But what about you, John? What's your number 4?
Number 4 was tough for me because I had to go with a character that is near and dear to my heart. But if we were going to say favorites, she would be my number 1.
I was shocked on this answer. Everybody
knows who I'm talking about. But if we're going to go with hottest, she gets number 4, and that is none other than Bayonetta. Bayonetta 2 is my favorite game of all time. Bayonetta is my favorite character of all time. Bayonetta's soundtrack is one of my favorite soundtracks of all time.
So let me ask you this. what makes her so amazing for you? Is it just the game itself, or is it? Don't
Yeah.
hate me, John. I haven't played the games. I know you yell at me.
Yeah,
But is
yeah.
it is it the way she portrays herself in the video game? Is it her hotness? Is it just the gameplay that makes
It
you love the
is.
game, so you love her? Or
And she hit me by like a ton of bricks. A quick story: a few years ago, it was New Year's Eve. I had Bayonetta on Wii U, and no, it probably goes back about 4 years, right? I had Bayonetta on the Wii U, and I just decided like, hey, New Year's Eve, I'm gonna stay up late and I'm gonna play Bayonetta 2. I've been wanting to play it, but I can't really play it in front of the kids. And I started playing that game, and I was like, that was one of the most amazing experiences I ever had.
Wait,
And I just sort of fell in love with the game and the character. And what does it for me is she's got attitude. She's basically, chew gum and kick ass type. She's a witch. She has great one-liners. She's just tough as nails. And, she wore, like, in Bayonetta 1, she has the longer hair and, like, the ribbon, and she's a little more revealing up top. And, what I find interesting is in Bayonetta 2, they changed the character model, and I'm not sure if it had anything to do with Nintendo coming in. I tend to think that they got rid of the long hair so that it could render a little bit more efficiently with her short hair look on the Wii U.
which one do you prefer, John?
I don't know. I prefer the Bayonetta 2 model because I love that game so much. I don't like Bayonetta 1 as much.
Luckily, John, we're not ranked in top 5 games. Okay?
Yes, I know.
It's hotness.
I would say
which one's hotter?
It's hard to. When you imagine them, you think of the game. So I have to say, I've got to say I like the Bayonetta 2 model a little bit better. She's definitely more covered up. She's got the shorter hair, but there's just something about her attitude and the way the outfit. That's just the way it is, and that's what Bayonetta. That's what I love about Bayonetta is just her fighting. It's just comes down to that. It goes beyond looks here, but no, she's hot.
So,
she knows it. She's got the glasses on. It's a good deal. Yeah, it's a good deal, and it's a worthy number 4. There's some tough competition.
I feel like she would be hard to get.
I would be terrified. I don't even think I could perform, honestly.
How do you think she would perform? You think
terrified.
she's like how is she in bed? You think she's in the dominant position there, or do you think she's kind of you're
definitely.
right. You know what? I'm a little afraid of her. You're right.
You're definitely right, but at every moment of time, you'd be afraid that she's just going to murder you at any given moment too, and you have to decide if this is worth it or not. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
is this really worth it? If this is how I die, this is okay.
I don't disagree. So I gotta ask you really quick before we move on.
Mm-hmm.
I never played Bayonettas. Why are these non-kids in the room friendly?
There is a lot of bad language, a lot of sexy language. In the opening scenes, I mean, like you see her like stripping down. She's like traveling on a horse in slow motion. There is no nudity. There is implied nudity, but there is no nudity. Just some bad words, nudity, a lot of suggestive themes. This is not a game to play in front of the kids. But as Justin said, I won't judge you if you do.
All right, so let's move on to your number 3.
All right, I think this character is the one people will know the least. This is Jenna Anderson from Astral Chain. And a lot of people, I mean, I know Astral Chain was very popular. Not everyone got all the way through it. About halfway through, you start to meet Jenna Anderson, and she becomes kind of the main antagonist of the game. I won't say anything more about the plot.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, Jenna Anderson is also a real estate agent for Keller Williams, and she's not the one I want to be having sex with. So let me just say the storyline for Jenna Anderson is she used to be a scientist at this firm that is the basis of the game for Astral Chain, and she does not approve of the leader of the guy named Yosef, the leader of that firm. And something happens to her, and she's basically trying to kill Yosef.
And the thing that really does it, and I know you're looking at a picture of her right now, Drew, because that's what you do.
I am, and I'm trying to imagine her naked, and it's not happening. It's not doing it for me.
The thing that does it for me with Jenna Anderson is she looks like a haggard, badass Samus Aran. Do you see it?
No.
You don't think she looks like Samus Aran? Jenna Anderson. Okay, so if you don't know what Jenna Anderson looks like out there, imagine what a Samus Aran would look like if she was like a stripper who did meth occasionally.
Now I see it.
Do you see it now?
Now I do.
And that's who Jenna
the
Anderson
meth
is. Right. And she's bad and she's evil and she comes out and she just wants you dead. And I think she deserves.
This is going to be a character thing because I'm looking at the pictures and I'm like, she's not a smoke show.
I think of all of the women on my list, she is like the dirtiest. You know what I mean?
She's the one like just dim down the lights a little bit and get after it.
She looks like, she's trying to score some drugs off you, and like she's a street girl. But she's also brilliant. She's a scientist, and I appreciate that. She's got the looks and she's got the brain, and I think she's got massive breasts, I guess.
John, I think we're getting a reoccurring theme between the breasts and the older women. I mean, but Bayonetta looks kind of middle-aged as well, or older, not middle-aged, but
she's a witch. She's very old. She's over 100. I think she's over 100. I can't remember what she is.
Are you spoiling it?
She's one of that, but no, we know she's a witch. But Jenna Anderson is sort of she's got some other things going on. It's not very clear, and they don't fully flesh out her story. But once she appeared in Astral Chain, I was kind of like lagging a little bit. And then once she appeared, it's like, oh yeah, I'm going after her. Like it kind of like got me going for a few levels. So she's number 3 on my list. Drew, what is your number 3? My
number 3. Well, I've been playing this game so much that it's fresh in my mind. And with The Witcher, there's a lot of decisions you can make when you talk to players, NPCs. And when you do that, it kind of gives you that little like, okay, like what can I do with this person? What can I make them, feel for me, or can I make them hate me, or can I make them go in the next room or whatever? Mm-hmm. So I had to stay with that. And this character is, she's hot. Is she the hottest on my list? No, but it's that feistiness that I like about her. And I'm going with no other than Triss Merigold, who is also a witch. And
wait, is she the one without the shins?
No, that's Ciri.
Oh, okay, that's right.
And it's also another hot one, Yennefer, which let me tell you, if you watch the TV show, we had a nice.
Yennefer is the one with the white hair, right?
No. Ciri has the white hair. Yennefer has the black hair.
Oh, she's the one at the beginning of The Witcher.
Correct. And Triss has the red hair.
Oh,
so Ciri. If I had to rank them, I would say Triss is probably number 1 for me. Yennefer is a very close number 2, and then Ciri is a little bit distant, number 3.
Okay. Yeah, well, she's like that. She's like the half woman, so I don't know. So how much do you see Triss in the game?
Well, right now I'm in a part of the game where I'm with her quite a bit. Now, I don't know how that merges on afterwards, but like right now, she's part of the main storyline, and she has been probably for the last 8 hours. So there's a lot going on with her. I think she's the one that sent me to the brothel. I wish she kind of came to the brothel with me, because I probably would have paid her all 100 gold rather than the other, 20 splits. But yeah, there's something about her. She's feisty. That little witch sorceress type magic ability brings her on. She's just kind of a badass woman and owns it. I'm into it.
I think that's a theme with us too.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay.
So with that, all right. So my number 2 is a game that I played. It's also a 100-hour-ish type game. I played through all of it, and I think John played through it. I'm not sure. We'll find out in a minute. But I'm going with no other than what I'm talking about is Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And let me tell you, there's a lot of women in, well, there's not, there's a lot of people in that game that show a lot of cleavage. They're very powerful women in that game. And you're probably thinking, well, it could be one of two people, right? You probably narrowed it down a little bit. And I'm going with Pyra. I'm going with another redhead chick.
Yeah.
Which
is that three? That's three.
No.
Three redheads? Paulina's got red hair.
Brown.
Oh, it's red.
Oh, no way.
All right. Well, 2.5, and then a purple-haired girl.
Paulina has brown hair. That's
okay.
a fact.
I'm with you on Pyra. I think Pyra is the most unsurprising. I think I really want to say Pyra makes you fall in love with Xenoblade Chronicles 2. It was a big reason why I wanted to play the game. She just seemed like a cool character. Like, yeah, she's sexy and everything, but she seemed cool and she's very quiet. And this is a good choice, Drew. This is a good choice.
You know, it is again where she's obviously hot. She's got some big boobies, but it's the character again that makes you really part of the story. It's the emotional connection.
Absolutely. Yeah, like she when you first meet her, she's like kind of lost. She doesn't know where she is, and you just want to protect her. And then that's what they go with Rex, that he's trying to protect her. And Rex just like is ready to lay out his life.
The game really is an amazing game. If you guys have never played any of the Xenoblade Chronicle games, this is actually a really good one I feel like to jump into. It's a unique fighting system, but once you kind of get through it, I hate to say it because you do have to give it like a good 15 to 20 hours. And then once you do, everything's so natural and it's so much fun. The world is so large and it's so unique. I love exploring games, right? And it's
that is
all
great,
about
Drew. Can we talk about Pyra's hips a little bit first, though?
A little curvy, very curvy. I mean, her whole body.
Much.
No, I almost want to look at them. Think of like kind of like the boy booty shorts, whatever the hell they're called. But like,
oh yeah,
same thing. I feel like her hoo-ha should be falling out.
Yeah, I don't think there is one. Yeah.
Well, that's the point. I guess it's a video game. She doesn't technically have one. If it was real, it would. Yes, you're right. It would be falling out. Mm-hmm. But I'm into it. I'm all for it.
Great hair. And
I wish
the whole red thing. Like at some point, yeah,
it's almost a little bit above shoulder length hair.
Yeah,
but
like a bob.
I wish it could add like 3 inches to the hair.
Think so?
I feel like that'd move her up a notch.
Think so? All right.
I think so.
I'd like to see it. Maybe somebody can like make a version of it. Well, I'll tell you what, Drew. It's interesting that you say Pyra is number 2 because my number 2 is her better half, Mithra from Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's
almost.
I'd say if a little bit bigger boobies, definitely longer hair. This is now hair down to what, like your butt almost. Yeah,
she's got way longer hair. She's blonde.
Yeah,
I don't know if her chest is bigger, but it's more exposed. Like Pyra is true. Like Pyra's like Bayonetta. Like she's covered up, and then Mithra just lets it out. And the thing I love about Mithra the most is she has the attitude. Like Pyra she's very like soft spoken. She's very sweet. She's very nice. You want to protect her. Mithra's like, I don't need some goddamn man to protect me. She's a little nastier. There's that one scene where she's like wakes up in the bed with Rex and she's just like throwing shit at him and then she's like, get the hell out of here. And then like she's walking out and she's all like, you were staring or something like that. And
yeah,
like
I bet your ass I was.
Pyra like doesn't know that she's hot. Mithra is well aware that she's hot. True. And I think that's what edged her out over her. It edged her out over Pyra. And like she appears later in the game. And I mean, this is an older game, but Mithra's sort of Mithra is like the original character and Pyra's sort of a personification, but they're the same person. They switch between each other. But when Mithra showed up, it really just shook up the game. It was almost like okay, let's get you out of your comfort zone a little bit. We're shaking it up. You're no longer with Pyra anymore. You got Mithra. And it was really a great little
I felt that I was
twist.
cheating, but I felt that I was cheating.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you have Pirate part of you this whole time, and then all of a sudden they're gonna throw a curveball like, oh, I almost have like a twin sister who's a little bit hotter, maybe not. I don't really know. And then it's like, well, you only can have one of us at a time.
Yeah.
Like, no, F that. I want both of you at the same time.
But you're not getting either. So that's the way it works for Rex in this game.
That is true. How about what the hell are those little that little furball hamster guy? Those guys were awesome in that game.
The guy that built the robot girl.
Yeah. Oh man, what a great game.
Do you remember the scene when she's like he's got the wrong programming on her and she's all like a sex slave and he's like, oh I gotta change it. Oops.
I forgot about that.
I really want to play Xenoblade again.
That's a fun game.
Oh man.
Well, I think it's time. I think we're here. I think we're ready.
Once.
Who's going first here?
I'll take it first here.
I think mine's to be more of a shot to the world, so I think you should go first.
Okay. I at one point had like 3 different number ones, and I switched between them as the winds of. I started off with Bayonetta number 1, and then as I thought about it, I actually had Jenna Anderson as number 1. And then I said, you know what? I think the character and their impact on a game matters. You know, someone like Mayuko is going to be number 5, you know, because they're not a main character. They're a main NPC, you know. But I would have had this one, number 1, but she wasn't on the Switch. And then I was reminded that she is. And it is Camilla from Fire Emblem Warriors. Now, Camilla is from Fire Emblem Fates. She's with the family of Conquest. So that's when we first met her, and that's like a lot of the people in the family have like the purple hairs. Camilla has the purple hair, the big chest. She has like this sweet way of talking. She kind of knows she's hot, but she doesn't let you know that she knows that she's hot. And you just want her to hug you. I don't know what it is. There's like a motherly quality.
I mean,
it's a weird thing.
She looks like she has some bad problems. I'll give you that. I mean, hugging would also be difficult.
Yeah.
She's pretty badass. I mean, yeah, I got to be honest, and you might know this, you might not. You might hate me for it. You might quit the podcast. I don't play Fire Emblem.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that, really. I mean, you should be playing Fire Emblem, especially if you want to see some hot characters. And I'll tell you, my wife has latched on to a few male Fire Emblem characters along the way.
Good for her.
But yeah, Camilla is sweeter. She's not like a Mithra. She's not like a Jenna Anderson. She's not a Bayonetta. She's a little more sweet, and she goes her route, but she's always wearing revealing clothing. I will confess, I played way more Fire Emblem Heroes than I really should have because I was trying to unlock all the different versions of Camilla in the game.
Oh, you dirty
I
old
only got
dog.
I got a couple. It had like a summer version where she's wearing a swimsuit. I wanted it so bad. I got the spring version of her, and I got the regular version of her.
Now I got to type in swimsuit and see what I get.
Now that I knew she was in Fire Emblem Warriors, she did make her official appearance on the Switch, and she becomes my number 1. And it's close. I'm not going to say it's not close. I really like my selection of ladies, and I bet you if we did this list a year from now, and maybe we should, that maybe it'll be different depending on what comes out. But
well, it's possible. I'll tell you right now, John, my number 1 will not change. And everyone's out there saying, well, shit, you guys named 9 hot chicks already. Who else could possibly be out there? And I know you're yelling at the radio, trying to figure out who we are talking about. This chick has been around. She's been around. She's a smoke show, I gotta say. And I love her because we've all picked these very outgoing sorcerer, purple people. Besides Paulina, I'm going to say, we've all picked, they're all these something different types of women. This girl's real. She's as real as you can be. And, of course, I'm talking about someone that is very fit. As
God.
As fit as
God.
Wii Fit Trainer.
Wait, Wii Fit Trainer is your number 1?
John, pull this chick up. She's no joke. First of all,
pull her up. I watched her for like 50 hours on the Wii.
Hey, I don't need to know what you're doing on your own time.
I made her in Smash for a little while too. No, you know what? You're right. You're right.
She has a six pack. She has the perfect size breasts, not overdone, but they has that tight tank top. Shows a little bit of the belly. She's wearing her nice capri Yoda pants, hair pulled back in a ponytail, and I mean, flexibility, John. I mean, you can't tell me she's not going to be good in the bed because I've seen her do some crazy things on my Wii. So, yeah, I'll be crazy, but I feel like she's the most normal person there. You know, I don't need a personality. She's just there. I can compare it to something. You know,
Drew, it felt a little dirty going through this list, and I know we're objectifying here, and we're just having fun with it. But we're just trying to get the honest content out there, and we know the dads can't do this content because there's kids listening. So, but we're going to do it for them, and yeah, we're going to do it for them because guess what, Drew? I asked the Nintendo dads who they thought the sexiest character on the Switch was. And I got answers. Do you want to hear who? Let's play a little game, Drew. I'm going to name the Nintendo dad and have you tell me who you think is going to be their favorite. Okay, you ready?
Okay.
All right. Justin.
I have to tell you who I think he picked? I thought you were doing it the other way around.
I thought
that's
he would
impossible. I think you should name the person, and I'll try to guess what Nintendo dad said it.
Okay, Dixie Kong. No, I'm just joking. I thought Justin would have said that, but no, he didn't. All right, I'm gonna pick randomly Samus Aran.
Oh. You pulled all the dads.
I got 4 dads.
Okay. Samus Aran. I mean, that's something that I feel like should be maybe Tim.
That exactly is Tim. That is Tim.
Okay.
I will give you a hint though. Tim said Samus Aran, but there was another form of Samus Aran said by another Nintendo dad. So can you name the dad and can you name the form?
I mean, another form. I'd have to know the blue suit there. What's that one? Like the Zero suit?
Yep.
I feel like that would either be Justin or Marty.
I'll give it to you. It's Justin.
Okay.
And like I said, I thought he was going to go with Dixie Kong, but he went with Zero Suit Samus. A good choice.
That is a great choice.
That's a great choice, and I'm surprised she didn't end up on our list at all, which is kind of weird. But sometimes you've seen these characters, and it's fun to go with some newer, fresher characters. So
I agree.
Zero Suit Samus. Pyra was a number 1 for somebody. Yeah, Pyra got the number 1 spot for this dad.
See, Pyra's a tough one too because I feel like that's a game Marty didn't play, but I feel like that's a game Jesse would maybe play because he plays these large RPG type games.
Right.
I mean, if I had to just guess based off of Pyra, I probably would say Jesse.
It's Marty. I'm not even sure I knew Marty had played Xenoblade.
He probably hasn't. He probably Googled hot shits and that came up. He's like, that shit's hot.
Yeah. So Pyra is it. For Jesse, I'm not going to have you. I don't think you'll even know this character.
I probably won't.
But Jesse kind of nailed this because I asked him and he said Tharja. And I was like,
know who that is.
And I knew who exactly Tharja was. And I said, well, she's not on the Switch. Apparently, Tharja's in Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
This looks like the same chick that you picked.
Oh, no. Tharja is a Fire Emblem character. She wears this sheer black gown that's like completely see-through except for the very top. She's a magic user. She's just awesome. I played her a lot with Fire Emblem Heroes, of course. I had my babe army. And but Jesse says that she's in Tokyo Mirage Sessions, and that instantly has perked me up to keep going. I will never stop Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
It perked you up.
Need to see Tharja. I do want to add, I had some honorable mentions that did not make my list. They made my list at one point, but when I narrowed it down to 5, they didn't make it. Rabid Peach, gotta say, has it going on.
You sick bastard.
And Rabid Peach knows she's got it going on. She's taking the selfies. She's great, but she just missed my list. Maybe number 6. Nessa from the new Pokemon game, she is the water gym leader. I just think she's like super cool. I don't even know. She didn't really make the list because I wouldn't say like she's hot or sexy, but she's just cool. Like I really liked her.
You want to maybe hang out with her, go see a movie, but then leave her at the doorstep.
I want to go play Pokemon Go with her. A new one also from Tokyo Mirage Sessions, and I have a feeling there's going to be some others this game. But Tsubasa, who's one of the main characters in the game, she's like very like shy Japanese girl. But then her like alternate character is very busty and very like she's very joyful, like a Japanese sort of joy that you see in a lot of like anime type games. I really liked her, and she also like she's obviously very sexy, but she's just fun. I like having her around. She makes the battles just more fun to have her around than the other two guys. And then the last one, Mifa from Breath of the Wild. She was always my favorite.
Is that a Zora chick?
Mifa's the one that Link likes. Remember, like that was like Link's girlfriend.
Was she the Zora, the water people?
She's the Zora. Yeah, she's the Zora.
Yeah.
So, but Link. Hey, if she's good enough for Link.
Those are so different than your top 5 list. Those, I mean, I don't even know how those are in there. Like, it's like a different person voted on those.
That's why they're honorary mentions.
I'm not sure that's how it works.
And I just want to add, I talked to my wife about this list. You know, we're very transparent. And I asked her who she think the sexiest dude is on the Switch. And she said me. But then I said, no, I'm not on the Switch. And she goes, oh, okay. Well, if she had to choose. And this is a really funny list. She narrowed it down to 4. Her number 1 is Tom Nook. And
I don't even know what to say to that.
Her number 2 was Kirby. And, you know, because she doesn't play a lot of the serious games, so she doesn't have a lot of choices.
Wait, is Kirby a boy?
Kirby is whatever Kirby needs to be.
You know, that kind of reminds you of, like, Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh always screws with me.
Winnie the Pooh is a boy.
I know, yeah, but I feel like it could be a girl sometimes.
Yeah, nah, Kirby's definitely a boy.
I mean, would you'd bet $100 on that?
How do we prove it? Like, do we need to prove it? I'll put 100 down for that one.
I mean, I'm not confident, so I don't know.
Kirby's
sexuality.
All right.
Would that be
if anybody's listening, if you think you can prove that Kirby is male or female, then send it up. I'm not a Kirby pro. Look, I don't even like the Kirby games that much, but I think of Kirby as a man, and I think he shaves in the morning. I think he has an appetite. I mean, like he inhales food like a man. So,
fun fact: do not doodle Kirby sets.
I don't know why you would, and I don't know why you did.
Well, I did.
Go with Kirby gender. Oh.
Could...
My wife Michelle also mentioned Ferdinand from the Fire Emblem series. She likes a guy named Laszlo, but he was on the 3DS. He was on Fire Emblem Fates as well. I didn't let her use that because he's not on the Switch. And Breath of the Wild Link, which I think is going to be on most women's lists.
He's not bad. He's a stud.
He's confident, so yeah.
And the blue tonic, I'm assuming.
The blue. Oh yeah, the tonic, the tunic.
Tonic. That's what I meant. You know.
You're thinking you got ukulele on the brain, dude.
I live in New England. We say things weird.
Yeah, wicked hot.
Pop the car.
Bag it. Drew, we got another topic to talk about.
We got to get this thing rolling.
Let's take a cold shower and move on to it. What do you say?
Not together, but let's do it. All right, let's get this second topic going here. I think, John, you're the best one here to kind of lead us off into this. Well,
yeah, let's really get into this.
Introduce it.
Yeah, so in the last week, there were 3 very high-profile game delays that occurred. One of them was Cyberpunk 2077. You're a Witcher 3 guy, Drew. This is made by CD Projekt Red. This has been very hotly anticipated. I think this is the first game they've made since Witcher 3. This has been a long time coming, a massive open world. It was supposed to come out mid-April, got delayed to mid-September, a 5-month delay that occurred 3 months before the date. A lot of people, upset. about that one. Marvel's Avengers got a 4-month delay, and these are like all like within days of each other. I'll tell you. Marvel's Avengers got delayed 4 months. So that game's coming out. It was going to come out in May, which is kind of advance notice. It's 4 months in advance, and they're just delaying it 4 more months. And then finally the big one, and this game was coming out soon. Final Fantasy VII, the remake. That's supposed to come out March 3rd, which interestingly is the Switch's birthday. It would have been the Switch's 3rd birthday. And we throw parties for the Switch, so I'm really glad they actually did delay it because I kind of want to play this. Just got delayed a month to April 10th. So
that's not too bad.
Not too bad, no. And I think what's important here is the community. The community has really evolved on this. I think the community sees delays as positive things more than negative things. The gaming community is not really known for being, rational at times. A lot of the community seems to, a lot of the dredges of the community, I will say, because I think the gaming community is really good, but the dredges of the community, which often get leaked into the mainstream media, tend to hate women a lot, tend to be assholes. And, but even then, I think people accept these delays. And I'd like to talk about it a little bit. I think it's very easy to say that a delay is good, make sure the game's perfect, take all the time you need or whatever. And there's some truth to that. But I thought it'd be something that we should talk about, Drew. What do you think about these delays? What do you think about delays in general?
I have a lot of feelings, right? So delays, it's a society today, right? That's the issue. So there's a lot of problems I see with the developers in general where it comes to, the hype train, right? So every time, you see like the E3, are we going to see Metroid Prime? Are we going to, what's the new stuff we're going to see? And, Breath of the Wild, perfect example, Breath of the Wild 2, we saw a teaser trailer last June, but we don't even know when the game's coming out. So are they showing stuff so far in advance that they're setting themselves up for failure? So now, come this June E3, if we don't see now a full trailer for Breath of the Wild, people are going to be upset, right? So I think it's the developers overpromising things too soon, and I think by what I mean with that is I think they push their own limits. And I think they push their resources to the max. A perfect example, right? So think about a game like Smash Bros. Ultimate that came out, where we have the director of Smash Bros. Taking IV drips in the office because he needs to focus and stay awake. But you know what the problem is, John? Is it's the pressure of the video game world, right? It's the fans, it's the people that are buying your game, it's the expectations of that gamer, right? So I think what it is over the years, I think the internet itself has ruined it. It ruined it for all of us because you're going to have those people out there that criticize it. It's the reception. So these developers, I had to do a fun fact. I had to look into The Witcher, for example. And I know I've been beating this to death, and I swear to God, give me 1 or 2 more episodes and I'll never talk about it again. But The Witcher cost $81 million to make.
Oh, my God.
$81 million to create a video game, John. Ridiculous. Now, has it sold millions and millions and millions of copies and made its money back and more? Yes, but that's not the point. Why are we spending $81 million to create a video game where if you play this game and you explore the crap out of it and you looked at every nook and cranny and you talked to every person, I'm telling you right now, nothing on the internet is trying to tell you that number. It is probably hundreds and hundreds of hours if you go do all that content. Right. So why create such massive games? Right. There's so many game companies out there where if I was a gaming company, why spend $81 million where let's say and create a 300-hour game where let's say maybe you can spend $30 million, create a really good, solid 50-hour game, maybe even, 75-hour game. And then start your development on maybe a next game. It just seems like there's so much stuff that these guys are putting into. They're creating movies for a video game controller, and it's to the point where now people have set the standard. And if people don't do that, you're gonna have those people that bitch about it. but at the same time, they're digging their own grave, right? I think they need to stop focusing on the length, and I think they need to just take their, they try to take their time to make the game better, rather than just making the game smaller, making it more manageable, and making it a small, quality, good product.
Yeah,
and like I said,
Go ahead.
No, I mean, I think, but again, I think it just goes back to the expectations, and I think that's the problem now is someone did set the standard, and people want that. But I got to ask this question: is you look at a game like Witcher 3 and all these other games that are 100+ hour games. I'd love to poll every single person that purchased that game. How many people started the game and 100% completed it? How many people beat the main storyline? And how many people never finished it and quit?
It's probably a pretty good number, but yeah, there's probably a ton of people that never finished the game at all.
And I bet you there's a very few people that did all of the quests and side quests.
Oh,
I'm sure there's like a 50% ratio, I would have to say, maybe, that just beat the game.
Yeah.
If I had to guess. But my point is do us as video gamers need all those options? And I know we could get into this whole argument that people like options, right? I wrote in I sent an email in, a voicemail into the Nintendo Dads last week about why do we need
Jeb? Was that Jeb?
No, that was not me. That was
by the way, by Jeb.
Yeah, thank you, Jeb. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeb. I agree. But no, I brought up the point of why do we even need an interface with background music and background stuff? And the Nintendo Dad's answer is because people like options, right? But how many people? I did get to the point where people log on all the time and they want to manage their folders and do all those things. But at what point in the video game industry are we developing to the 10%? Right, you got to start thinking about the 90% of the people. How many people out there are not hardcore video gamers? Obviously, all of us are. We're listening to podcasts about it. We're going on the internet and reading about it. We are a small percent of the video game industry, and I get that we put a lot of money into it, so they want to listen to us. But at the same time, if I was a video game industry, fuck you, 10%. Here comes 90%. That's where I'm making my money.
But I would say that 10% of the games are the big games and 90% really aren't the big games. I think a game like look, I mean, The Witcher 3 is a huge game, and I think most of my interest in playing The Witcher is because I got excited that it came out on the Switch. I don't have any interest in Cyberpunk 2077. I'm not the kind of gamer. I'm like that 90%. I'm an intense casual gamer. So I don't want to play a 200-hour game like Cyberpunk 2077.
No, but at what point is it too much? When I go talk to a merchant because I want to sell a damn sword that I just picked up, I don't need a cutscene every fucking time that says, hey, welcome to the Bloodsmith merchant. What can I do for you today? I don't need that. Just put up the menu. I'm here to sell something.
Yeah, like if this was a retro game, you'd be like, you'd go next to him, you hit A, B, A, done.
Yeah, and it would just be repetitive that you could do it every time. But no, now I have to watch a cutscene or try to skip a cutscene. Are you sure you want to skip the cutscene? Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. So what you're saying is that the delays, while the delays do seem to be like, oh, it's for the best, we got, maybe there's some polish, maybe there's some bugs. I mean, look, I'm a software developer. When we have a product, getting ready for release, we do look at the bug list and what QA has given us. And yeah, sometimes you have to delay because you're like, look, we can't put it out with this many bugs. There's some really, crashing bugs, that sort of thing. And if you look at this list, not every delay is the same. So Cyberpunk is a 5-month delay, and they weren't supposed to release for 3 months, right? And so what that tells me is that they've got some bugs, and they have a lot of testing they need to do, and that game has some problems. I guarantee you the game is built well, and the game's going to be great for the people who like that kind of game.
Yep.
But that kind of delay, that 5-month delay, 3 months in advance, tells me that they've got some bugs and they have a lot of work to do.
But to your point, John, it's hard to manage a 250-hour game for testing. When you test a 250-hour game, that means there's more likelihood of more bugs, and it's going to take you longer to test those.
Correct.
When you're testing a 75-hour game, you're more likely to have less bugs. It's just, that's that's nature.
And the point I'm trying to make is that not all these delays are the same, because Final Fantasy delayed a month, And that, like, a month is just really, like, I think that they're finishing up the code now. And I don't know if you know how long a company needs to, like, print to disk, right? Final Fantasy VII is going to be out on disk. How long it takes to print up the discs, to print up the game cases and all that. It probably takes some time. And I'm sure those games, the reason why you get games that have a day one update is because they have to put their Golden Master build on a disc way in advance.
Oh,
and then they're continuing to do QA because they're running late. And that's why you get sometimes, like, you get a game like Bloodstain that's buggy on release. You get games that have big monster day one updates because they weren't done when they had to put it to print because they had to meet a deadline. And so a game like Final Fantasy VII, I think is fine. I mean, that game's been taking forever.
I mean, yeah, for all we know, the manufacturer of their SD cards could have been like, oh, we have a shortage. You have to wait a month.
Yeah.
But, you don't know. There's, like you said, there's a lot of other stuff like that.
Yeah, and Marvel's Avengers wasn't supposed to come out for another 4 months, and that got a 4-month delay. And I suspected that game maybe is critically needs some enhancements, maybe isn't as fun as they'd like it to be. So, I mean, if you think about it, these are games that were supposed to come out, mid, and they're already delaying them. It's not about bugs. They're just running behind or they need to add more content. I agree with you that I think games should have narrow thing. I'll tell you the model that I like the most. I like when a game comes out and then you get free DLC. And if that, and to me, I don't think that's the game. Sometimes it is, but I don't think it's the game developer saying, hey, we want to work for free and give you free content instead of starting to work on another game to make more money. I kind of think of it as, hey, we have this big vision for our game and we want to put it out a little sooner because maybe we're a smaller studio and we want you to have some content earlier because we want to get sales earlier. Whereas maybe a game like Cyberpunk 2077 is done by a company that made a ton of money on The Witcher 3, has been successful, CD Projekt Red, and they don't need to release it to make their money. They're making their money already. I love a game. A game comes to mind, Wargroove. A game that came out, was fun, had a couple little issues, little game tweaking issues, but was great fun from day one. They made a big patch. They fixed a couple things in the game.
Wasn't Wargroove delayed?
Wargroove, I don't know. I don't remember it having a date where it was like a delay.
Okay, it was just it was later than everyone expected.
But when it came out, it had some tweaking issues. It was way too difficult. There was just some things about it, just some of the delays and stuff. But you know what? They're coming out next month. I think in a few weeks now, with a huge DLC, and you don't even have to pay for it. It's free. And they didn't have to. They could have charged $10 for it, $5, anything. And they're coming out with a free DLC. And I love that because we played through Wargroove this year, early in the year, had a blast with it. And now you're coming out with DLC. And now I want to get back to it. I want to do some more completing of the original game.
Yes.
I love that model.
But I think you got to find that happy medium, and this is going to be for everybody a different answer. But what is the right answer for DLC? Like, what's that time gap? When did this game come out?
Wargroove?
Yes.
I think wasn't it like January, February of this
That's my point. So is 12 months later too late for DLC? Like, I've moved on. I hate to say that, but it's like, and I get some people say, well, it draws you back into a game that you haven't played in a long time.
I think it draws you back in. You know what? It may not work for everybody, but it works for me. If I didn't have Wargroove and I saw that there was DLC, I would be like, ooh, you know what? Like, remember you mentioned last week that that you like a game that's timely. You like a game that's social, that you're playing with other people. And when you do something like this with Wargroove, I could come back. If I hadn't played Wargroove, I could come to Wargroove in January, play through it, and then enjoy the DLC with everybody else and be part of a community. Because if that content came out with the game in February, or maybe they took an extra few months to do it and it came out in May, I missed it. I'm excited to get back into it, and it's a game that I've wanted to get back into, but I haven't. But I definitely will now. Another one I wanted to mention too, Overcooked 2. That game came out, my God, like a year and a half ago.
Oh yeah, that's a good example there.
Me and my wife, we played with a couple of buddies of ours. Everyone had played Overcooked and really loved it. So we formed this like super team of Overcooked veterans. And every month or so, like they'll come over or we'll go over and we'll play. And we just have a blast. And we have been playing for a year and a half. we beat the game like 8 months ago or whatever it was.
Can
It took a while.
I just call time out? Did you just call your guys a super team of Overcooked veterans?
It's like, what are the rock groups with all like the people, like super groups, right?
I just wanted to make sure I heard that correct.
It's an
Super
Overcooked super group. You know what's great about it is we didn't have to like train somebody up. We didn't have to explain how the game works. We all know the game. We all went in. We had a blast. We actually found the game pretty easy. But
Well,
really,
I mean, that game's no joke. It can get intense. Me and my wife had some serious, I'll never forget the time we were playing, right? And me and my wife were playing. And we were making hamburgers, I think. And I said, get the tomatoes. I need a tomato over here. And she's standing there next to me. She's like, I can't put the damn tomato down. I can't do it. I said, Amy, it's because you're holding a fucking fire extinguisher. It's not a tomato. Oh, man. It's fun. It's intense. It was a lot of fun. But I'll never forget that moment. She picked up, it was red. It was next to the tomatoes. It was the fire.
you can't cut it. You can't cut the fire extinguisher.
You can't.
But we beat the game like almost a year ago or so. I think it took us 5 nights to beat the game. And this was spread out over weeks, months. But they've been releasing DLC. They've done like 6 or 7 DLC drops since then.
Have they all been free?
So not all of them are free. They did have a pass, but a few of them were free. Okay, and they're still every so often putting out free content. And it keeps you engaged. And I just love the model because it brings you back into a game. You feel like you don't have to spend any money. Slay the Spire is another game that's coming out with a 4th character.
But
it brings you back in.
And this might be a topic for another day, but at what point is DLC a new Overcooked 3?
And we want an Overcooked 3, but I'll take free DLC any given day over the next game, because then I know I have to buy that next game and you have to start a new save file. We jump in and we look at our save file and we see all these 3 stars everywhere. And I'm just saying it's free. Like I said, not all of it is free in Overcooked 2, but it's free. It keeps you coming. I love it. Shovel Knight had this model, and I think it was more for the Kickstarter. But I mean, last month we saw, or is it this month? Last month we got the latest Shovel Knight DLC. They've been putting out free content for years. Mm-hmm. But that got delayed a long time. That got delayed 2 years. Mm-hmm. And I just want to say that not every delay is great. I think you're right. I think game developers need to start talking about the model of how they do it, cut down the content, cut down the development time, and push more DLC, but make it free. Make it right. We were going to spend 3 years in this game, but we released it after 2 years, and we spent a year giving free DLC. It gives people very positive feelings about it. They're getting free content.
But look, you know what? I don't want to get into this again too deep, but I actually feel differently, John. I like the concept of I go 2 ways. From a user point of view, I feel like you want to get the game into the user's hands, right? I want to be able to play a game. Now, if you made a game available to me for $10 or $20 versus $50, I'm more likely to go buy it, correct? So you start cheap. And then you can do paid content afterwards. And I feel like sometimes it's a better value for me because, hey, I only bought this game at $20. I don't mind spend another $10 or $20 on more content. Now, I get it from the developer's point of view. That's not what you want to do, because if you get someone to buy a game for $50 and they play 1 hour of it and hate it, you still got their $50 versus the other way around. Now
but then you're not going to get their money next time. It's going to have an effect.
Correct. But I'm kind of always into this, and I actually pitched this one time, I think, for the Ent Dads, is like, why not buy a game for like $5 or $10, and then after you beat a chapter, it's almost like the video arcade where, hey, you want to play chapter 2, put in $5. Because at some point, if you never get to that point, or you don't have the time, or you didn't like it, I can quit, and I'm only maybe $10 or $15 into it rather than $50.
Yeah, but I mean, you're not being accurate. You can't build a Witcher 3 in a short time. I mean, there's two halves to building a game: building the engine, building the rules of the world, and then building the content, like the level design and that sort of thing. So, I mean, you still have a huge undertaking in building these like big open worlds. And I don't think it would
work with The Witcher or something. But if you think about like what the hell was the game called with the where you're a merchant, but then you go in the dungeons and you.
Oh God, no, not that one. I know what you're talking about.
I think that's a good example.
Moonlighter.
Moonlighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get the first dungeon free, and then once you complete it, you want the second dungeon is $5 or whatever it is. You did progress the game that way.
Yeah, but that game was horrible, and I wouldn't have paid another $5 to play a second dungeon.
Exactly, we would have saved money, John, because I think I'd quit after the first and second dungeon myself.
Yeah, but it's not how I want to play a game because I'm just not going to have that motivation. Even like paid DLC. Look, I love Fire Emblem Three Houses, right? And then they put out DLC for that one, like right away. They have a DLC pass. And I didn't buy it because I knew I was going to go through the games 3 or 4 times, play it through all the houses. Why do I want DLC when I'm going to be spending 100 hours or 150 hours in that game? And then it wasn't really until the DLC that they just announced that actually had me interested. Because it was actually meaty and it was like another school. But the other content wasn't that. Remember Xenoblade 2 when that came out? They had the DLC pass. Did you ever get that?
Yeah, what was it?
I mean, they had some extra side quests and they had some extra weapons and blades.
Yeah, I think I suckered into it because I liked
Oh, okay,
the game.
yeah. See, I didn't get that one until we found out about the expansion, the Torna expansion.
Oh, yes, yep.
Then you're talking about like having almost like a new game. And I didn't actually buy the DLC. I think I actually just bought the Torna expansion like on the chip. But I mean that's when you can like win me over. But like if I'm playing a game like Moonlighter and I play the first level and I'm like, and then you're like, hey, for $5 you can play level 2. What am I getting out of that game that I'm like, ooh, I want a second level? I'm going to be satisfied that I beat the first level and I'm going to be like, okay, I'm not really going to pay more to play another level. You need to sell me on extra content, but you need to give me a full game.
I think it works in certain games. I think if you designed the game around it, it could work. I'm not saying it works with every game.
Isn't Final Fantasy VII coming in like chapters? Like I think Final Fantasy VII is going to have expanded content down the road. I'm not exactly sure if they're cutting the story short. I think it's a replication of the game, but I think there's going to be more chapters that they're going to add to that later. But you're still getting a full Final Fantasy VII to play through. So I'd rather just pay up front. I'm just
I don't know. But anyway, I think again, I think we kind of got sidetracked here, but I think it was a good topic. I think we both kind of expressed strongly how we feel about delays in the companies in general and where the video game industry is going. So I think it was a good topic. I think we had some good conversation there. But I mean, anything else that you want to kind of talk about before we start closing? I mean, I do want to mention all your listeners out there. Remember, Monthly Mayhem only has a few days left. So make sure you get over on our Discord channel for the Nintendo Dads and submit all of your things. We are now all playing Ring Fit Adventure. Super Punch-Out. I actually made my Super Punch-Out run this weekend. So remember, you have 2 games to play. Either Ring Fit Adventure, which is our main game, or you can go play Super Punch-Out for kind of some side action. And that all ends January 31st. And this podcast is now replacing all those Monthly Mayhem videos. And then...
And I will add, don't forget to send us your victory pose videos because you not only get points for Monthly Mayhem, but we're going to do something special with that. So I really want to see, have your kid, have your wife, have whoever, husband, whoever, just send a video of you doing your victory pose. We're going to have a good time. I really would like to see a whole bunch of those. And yeah, Drew, earlier today, I sent in some good scores. I wouldn't know if they were good or not, but I did see them. Yeah, impressive scores. I will put it that way. So I'm looking forward to seeing. Well, I know you and Nick out there has a little battle going on, something about some conspiracy theory or something. But, you two do what you got to do. We're battling it out with the abs. And, well, anything else before you want to wrap it up? No, and just to go back to the delays, like I said, it is always better to have a game delayed. It's always better to have a good game delayed than a bad game. But I think it's time with all the delays that we keep getting, I think it really is important for game companies to kind of like start thinking about their operations, because you can't just delay everything over and over again.
I mean,
let's start thinking about it and try to figure out how we can avoid doing the delays, because they're getting old. They're happening all the time now. So it's a little much.
Hurts to say, John, but I mean, you took the words out of my mouth. I couldn't agree more with that statement.
Yeah, we're starting to assume games are going to be delayed now. I don't like that. So,
I agree.
That's it.
But, well, we, of course, want to always thank the Nintendo dads for letting us host this amazing After Dark show. And make sure, you listen to them as well. Subscribe to us. And John, we are going to be making a little bit of changes in the future, right? So we'll keep all of you guys updated. But as for now, continue to follow us on the Nintendo Dads feed. But we will be having our own feed shortly. But you can pretty much find us everywhere right now over on iTunes, Castbox, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, you name it. And if you are a Nintendo Dads patron, come over to Discord. We have our own channel, the Dads After Dark channel. Let us know what you think about the show. If you want to submit questions to us, just chat to us about maybe who your hottest Switch character is. Let us know what you guys think. Let us know what you think about delays. But if you also want to go on over to Twitter at NDadsAfterDark. That's just the letter N. Dads After Dark, and tweet us out. Let us know. John's over there busy.
Tweet us out?
I don't know. I don't do Twitter, John. Is that not the thing to say? What
does it mean to tweet us out?
Tweet at us? What's the lingo? What would you say? Tweet
us? What does it mean to tweet us out?
Tweet us out. Share us. Tweet us. I don't know. Anyways, John, what do we have happening over the next couple of weeks?
Oh, man. I feel like I've been saying this for 2 weeks now, but we might be getting a Nintendo Direct in the next couple weeks. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can talk about a Nintendo Direct on our next show. If not, there's not much to talk about. There right now are no amiibos coming out. We just saw our last two. And by the way, Dark Samus is an awesome amiibo. But there's no amiibo coming out. There's no big game releases coming out. Next big game releases are really like Wargroove in early February, that DLC that we just talked about. There's some other DLC coming out in February too. The new Fire Emblem DLC is coming out as well in February. But no big game releases. So this is a good time to be working on the backlog. I know Marty has been working on his backlog. He just finished Jedi Fallen Order today. Good on you, Marty. I think finishing up games is where you see the real value. You really can't know how much you love a game until you finish that game. And Marty's been working on his backlog. I think he's gonna be working on his backlog through February as well. So now's a good time to be doing that. And then, like you said, Drew, get your Mayhem scores in.
Absolutely.
You want to get those in. You don't have to play the whole game. You just got to play the little 2 minutes, little side missions. Get some scores in. Get on the board. You never know if you're gonna win.
Never know.
Yeah.
In the lottery. But all right, well, thank you, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the show. And as always, thank you for listening to the Dads After Dark show. Good night.
Night, Dad.